Hi, everyone. Welcome to our first day of virtual programming here for Caliba Spring Forum. And let me adjust things here. We're so glad that you could join us today. We are really grateful to our sponsors that have really helped make everything possible that we do. Penguin Random House, Simon & Schuster, and Scholastic for making all of this possible. And right now we're launching into Edelweiss For Buyers. Elayna Trucker from Napa Bookmine, who's also the chair of our education committee, has been getting a lot of requests to present something like this. And so we're really happy to be able to do it. She's joined by Jessica Palacios from Once Upon a Time down in Montrose. And we're also lucky to have Nikki Cyclair and Deidre Dumpson here from Edelweiss that will be hanging out in the chat and answering questions. So do drop your questions in the chat and we will grab them as we can. So I am going to turn it over to Jessica. Oh, you're muted.
Hello. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for coming. We have a lot that we want to cover today, but yes, if you have questions, feel free to put them in the chat and we'll try to get to them either during the presentation or at the end. Right now, we're focusing on Edelweiss For Buyers. So Edelweiss is a really useful tool for a lot of different reasons. Lots of information in there, and we're going to focus on ordering and how to do that. One of the main reasons for Edelweiss is that you can really quickly and easily do Frontlist and restocks. I focus a lot on the Frontlist catalogs for us at my store, and there's also tons of information that you can use of like which book belongs to which publisher if you don't know, reviews from your colleagues at the store as long as they're on Edelweiss. If they're not, you really need to get them on there. It's a great tool. You can access ARCs, both you can request physical or digital ones. And then you can also get a lot of easy promotional and display items to get started. So how to set up a front list order? Let's get started. Usually your rep will email you directly with a catalog full of markups, and that will take you directly to the catalog, as you'll see on Elayna's screen. And you'll know if you got the markups. It's kind of important to know if there's little notes on the bottom. Sometimes those don't show up all the time, so make sure when you open the catalog that they're there. Kind of silly, but it's really helpful to have those notes. And then you can also go directly from the publisher's page. If you go on the top, then go to publisher and you're looking for, I don't know what Elayna wants to pull up, but let's see who that is, Penguin Random House. And you can search for specific ones that they have available to you if it hasn't been directly shared with you. And then Elayna, do you want to get started on how to do the actual buying?
Yeah, so either way that you get to a catalog doesn't really matter, but the important part is, when you enter a catalog through either the email that your rep sends or through the publisher portion of Edelweiss, the first thing you want to do is set up your buy. So this orange bar on the bottom of the screen is what you want to be seeing. Right now, it says all orders combined because there isn't an order in our system yet. So in order to make a new order, we hit this little plus sign and it pops up with the screen. And so everybody kind of has their different way of organizing things. I always date mine. I put a publisher, season. If it's a publisher like PRH where they have, maybe you have 5 or 6 different reps, I would do something like, Penguin, Kids, Fall, something that makes it obvious, what we're doing. PO number, so I use Basil Basil will go through downloading orders after, but I don't put in a PO number right away because when I download my orders into my point of sale, it automatically dumps them into a PO. And so those PO numbers are generated at that time, not early. I know that that is not the case for every system. So make sure that you talk to your point of sale people and make sure that you know how that downloading portion should be done for them so that it makes sense for everybody. I put in my discount, which is, different for every publisher and everyone. You can also put in comments. So we have 2 Frontlist buyers at my store. I buy YA and all of our adult titles. Our owner, Naomi, buys all the kids' titles. And so we use this comments field as a way to communicate with us. So right now I'm just gonna put testing, because this is a testing thing. You can put in, I don't do vendor code because my point of sale system has the vendor code already like hard coded into the vendor file for the in Basil. That may not be the case with your POS. So again, make sure that you're talking with them about how best to do this. You put in your appointment date. You can even put in the time, practically midnight or whatever. And then this is the important part and the sometimes little tricky part. Show advanced options. Okay, so what this is doing is binding a catalog to your buy, which means that when you go into the buy, just when you're working on it, you want to go in through the catalog that is in the buy, and I'll show you what that looks like. So right now, we're in this catalog, so it knows that we're in Macmillan, and we're going to try to find this particular buy. Now you can change the time on these. So if you want to look at only catalogs that were made available in the last 3 months or so, that's fine. I have mine set for the last 3 years because sometimes publishers just reuse the same catalogs over and over again. And if you have it set up to only view catalogs created in the last 3 months, you may not be able to find it, which is very frustrating. So that's why I have mine super late, and it's just alphabetical. What can be a little frustrating is when you get small publishers who name their catalog just like fall 2022. And so you end up looking at like a screen of 10 different fall 2022s, which is a little frustrating. And sometimes you just maybe politely suggest to your rep that they change the name of that catalog so that it's easier for you to find. So I'm here looking for this Macmillan Publishers all titles. Ooh, I bypassed it. Sometimes it can take a while. There we go. All titles, fall 2022. There it is. So I select it. You can select more than one catalog. You hit the Control key on your keyboard, and then you click all the catalogs you want. You do the same thing to get rid of anything that you clicked accidentally. This is great for like if you're doing university presses and there's a bunch of university presses that are all distributed by, say, Longleaf, you can like create orders where all those different catalogs are bound to one order so that you can see your true unit totals, which can be really helpful. So I have my order name. If I'm putting in a discount, I have my discount, which you should be able to change on your POS. Again, make sure you check with them about what you need to do there. Any comments, appointment date, and I've bound a catalog. I hit save. And it says, hey, you haven't shared this with your sales rep. Do you want to continue without sharing? I always say yes. I don't share my buys with reps until shortly before our appointment when I've actually put numbers in. That may be different for some people. So you will notice down here in this orange field, we now have the buy, Macmillan Fall. And we want to make sure that every time we go into this buy, that we see that on the bottom. Now, you may be, if if you're here in orders, you may be working on like so many different buys, and you may be doing them all together. Like you might be starting, I have like my RH blue up, that's still active. My RH green appointment is next week. So you want to make sure, and I just want to show this. This is the order itself. There's nothing in here because I haven't actually put anything on order. So you just back out into orders and you go through the catalog. You should be seeing your markups. You should be seeing the correct buy on the bottom. Make sure that it's there. If it's not, you just click this button in order to change it. And you should be seeing all of this lovely content that is available to you. So I highly recommend that you see these little buttons here. These are how you hide and show your content. So I just like got rid of all my comps. So comparable titles are super duper helpful. You definitely want to see that. These are loaded by your reps and by the publisher. They'll have sales of any previous books by that author, books that are similar to it. If it's the paperback, they should have the hardcover there. And those are really great. If you have multiple stores like I do, you use this little cross-location grid button to expand it. And then I can see at each of my 3 stores whether and how it's sold. That's super duper helpful for me. You can also look at any related titles. So if there's more in this series, you can see those. If there's any references, so this is super helpful. If you think maybe you bought this title before, you can look and see if there are other catalogs that it's in. Maybe it's been I don't know what the word is, like rescheduled multiple times and it's in a bunch of different catalogs. You can also see if there are any previous orders. I don't have any orders for this title yet, but once I put numbers in, that would show up. All of this information is super duper helpful, and I highly recommend that you look at all of it. For books like picture books, cookbooks, that kind of thing, you'll get often spreads, which you can see and read. I do this, for example, like all cookbooks. I do that so that I can see what the recipes actually entail, whether they're in imperial units or American units. That makes a difference for my store, what the pictures look like, that sort of thing. And sometimes there will also be even more content where they'll have like the full F&G that you can click on, and it takes you to a PDF outside of Edelweiss where you can read the entire book. All of these things are super helpful. You have your bibliographic information, authors, pub date, ISBN, all of this stuff, how many pages. For instance, like you wouldn't think page count would be important. Poetry is something I look at with page count. If it's like a really expensive poetry book and it's only 96 pages or something, I might pass on it for now, stuff like that. Obviously, what's good for your store is its own thing. So when it comes to actually buying, you have all here on the right. So you have your section. If you do not have your own POS sections loaded, I recommend you do that. The mapping doesn't have to be exact, to be honest. You just need to have the section name in there somewhere so you can easily change it. So like this is coded as child fiction. That's not the right section for us. This is really holiday book. So I would change this to child holiday and just type it in. It knows that that's a section that we use, so it includes it. You put your numbers in here. It does this little, if you'll see, when I hit tab, that little graying out, that's Edelweiss like confirming it and saving it. That's a really important thing. It used to not do that. That is a newer addition, which popped up maybe a couple months ago. And it's awesome because I used to do it sometime where I would like go through super duper fast and it would just straight up be like, no, that's too fast. I didn't save that. You're going to have to refresh and start over. That's no longer the case. Now it will straight up just not let you keep going until it saves and your numbers are in there. And then you'll see, like, if you do have multiple stores, you'll see the total count there on the bottom. You also have your carton quantity if you want to be buying in cartons. You can put zeros in. If you have a point of sale system where it does not pull information from anywhere except what is downloaded into it, if there's a book that you want to keep an eye on but don't have in your system, you can put zeros into your order and it will download all the bibliographic information so that it's there for your staff or for you to see. My point of sale system, Basil, is connected to the internet and it pulls all of its data from the internet. So I don't need to do this. It should, for the most part, can find stuff even if it's not been loaded into our system. Right here, if you have this on order at all at any of your stores, it will give you a little orange exclamation mark. And you can hover over that. See, it like wants to click on something. There's nothing there right now. If you hover over that or click on it, it will tell you which Edelweiss orders this has previously been in. This is a great way to make sure you don't double order something that you thought had been canceled from a previous season, but maybe wasn't. Usually your rep will put in the information, you know, this was canceled, back orders canceled. I still always go into the portal for that, the online portal for that publisher, and double check that my back orders have actually canceled before I reorder a book. I used to occasionally get like 16 copies of something that I really only wanted 8 of because I didn't double check that back order cancellation. So that's an important part as well. And you can always, of course, ask your rep to double check that too. A great way to do that is to use the stuff down here. So there's a lot of things you can do here. You can write a review, which I definitely recommend. Reviews are super helpful for your staff members. They're super helpful for if you have a marketing person, and also for your reps and the publishers. They love to see reviews. I will also put a shout out to reviews. Like, the more you review, the better the chances are that publishers will send you cool free stuff that you might like. Just putting that out there. So you can write a review here. You can choose to share it with whomever. You can nominate it for Indie Next, for the children's catalog, the best of Edelweiss fiction, and you would just save it. You can also put it on your shelf, meaning that you want to read it, but you haven't. You can put in a note. This would be like, I want to see the full F&G, or you could say, Naomi, this is super cute, please buy. If you can type, you can do anything, and you can make this visible only to your own bookstore, or you can make it visible to the publisher as well. This is where I would say, like, back orders actually canceled. Like, please double check because we're not sure. You can also put in tags. Tags are super helpful for a lot of reasons. We're going to talk a lot more about this a little bit later. I'll just show you. I do all of my tags starting with year. And then I have, you know, different tags started, or you just start your own. You can always delete it or start a new one so that you can use this for later stuff. Also in here, this little button, the heart, is like a very quick review. So it won't give you the full, like, you can write a review thing. It'll just say that you loved it. You can share this title. Say you want to send an email to a customer who you think would really love this book and say, hey, this book is coming out in 3 months. I think you'd love it. Do you want to, I'll just show you really quick. Do you want us to pre-order it for you? You just put in their email address, a message, blah, blah, blah. I've definitely done that. It's made sales for me, so that's pretty cool. And then this little more button, you can add it to a collection, and we'll talk about collections a little bit more. I use collections mainly for displays, as you can see. These are ones that have already been created. I can click this button to add it, or I can type in a new collection, click add, and it will do the same. You can also bookmark a title, and this is so helpful. So I want to make sure to pause here. Bookmarking, bookmarking, bookmarking. If you are like me and you do like 16 different jobs at your bookstore, chances are you are not going to make it through an entire catalog in one sitting. So make it easy on yourself. Bookmark that title. It pops you back into the home screen. You'll notice, and by the way, your home screen looks different for everyone. We can change these widgets, we can move them, you can add widgets and all of that. My bookmarking, that's pretty much the main thing that I use on my home screen. I currently have a couple of different, so I just did the one I just did, and then this, Knopf Doubleday that I'm working on. So when you're ready to go into it, you click on it, and it dumps you right back into the title that you were working on last. Yay! So helpful. Now, I'm glad I did this because you can see we're not in an order right now. I can't add numbers here. We're not in an order, so I need to tell it. And the reason it's doing this is because we were just in another catalog. So it's this one. It's my random house green order. Now we're in the order. I'm able to add to my order and do anything else that I need to. Really quick, also, I want to mention find additional comps and add title to comps. These are super helpful things. I just went through a buy where the entire imprint did not put in the hardcover version of the paperbacks that they were selling, which was really frustrating. So you can add title to comps in order to put its own. So this is the same book. Or you can find additional comps. You grab that ISBN from your own system or from Ingram that you're looking for. Like, I'll just do something random here so that you guys can see it. I just want to make sure, am I still on the Edelweiss screen? Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
I put in the ISBN. You can even search by author. You can search by title. ISBN's easier. You hit search. It pops up. Or if it's just by author or title, it might give you a list. You click on it, it's orange now, that means it's highlighted, and you add selected comps. And then it pops it in to the bottom or to the top somewhere. It pops it, there it is, right there. Super helpful to know how to do that. I don't honestly use these often, but let me tell you, when I do, it's really crucial. We're not going to go through analytics right now, but there are analytics that you can look at. It's up here. If you buy into above the tree line, that's going to be like a totally different session. And now I've been talking for a while, so I'm going to turn it over to Jessica, if she has anything she wants to add on anything I just went through, and also to move into completing an order.
Yeah. So I want to note, just in case anyone didn't know, so Napa has 3 locations, so that's why there's 3 little orange bubbles on the right-hand side that she can add numbers to. On my screen, we have one location, so there's only 1 little bubble. I like the math, that's really helpful, but not used in my case. So it will be a little bit simpler since I think a lot of stores who are attending today only have 1 location. So don't get overwhelmed with the 3 that Elayna has to juggle all the time. And yeah, I think one of the key things is to notice like when it's orange and when it's gray. Like, it's a very visual thing. Like, I'm a visual person, so it's important to like note that, like, oh, what's going on here? Why is something wrong? So that's just important to make sure that you're in the right catalog, you're ordering on the right order, and things are going to be where you want them when you eventually load them into your POS system. And I was going to talk a little bit more about tags. Elayna has a good system for making them into collections. I use them a lot for making book lists in terms of like marketing and putting them on our website. So yeah, you can use the tags that your rep has given you. And then there's also tags that you create yourself. And they are housed separately, so you don't get them too confused. And yours will show up, below the little images if there are images, and then your reps will show up in a separate location. And so it's important, like you can make tags for like anything, and it will sort. It's in like a different way to sort across publishers, across seasons, and it's just a different way to add another level of organization. So I always like, one tag that I use a lot is if there's signed stock, either going to be ordered or like the author is local. So that way I know that like we can do a promo for it later and check on like what the numbers are if I'm looking for a specific one. Or we do a lot of pre-orders for things. So I'll tag them by pre-order, and then I can constantly be checking like what the date is, like if it's been moved, which was a huge issue recently, like all the dates moving. So I can like just do a quick check on like if you sort by your tags or sort by the pub date, then you can sort through that. And what else was I going to say about tags? Yeah, and were you going to show how to do a collection or?
Yeah, I was. Did you want to do that now or after we
no, we can do, yeah. Oh yeah, sorry, I skipped
complete in
ahead.
order? Either way, I think it works either way.
Okay. Yeah, I guess since I mentioned it, let's complete. Sorry, I skipped ahead.
There is so much information. It's like hard to compact it all.
Yeah.
I do want to mention really briefly right now, what I've been doing on my screen is I've been filtering, so refining the results. So like when Jessica was talking about tags, I can filter just by tags. I can filter by pub date, by suggestions, and all of that stuff. And then she was talking about sorting. You can sort by any of these things, and you can sort from highest to lowest, whether that's the pub date or the title, alphabetically or whatever. So those are also options for making your buying easier. And one thing too that I want to mention is that we have different filters. I forgot to point this out. So because we have different buyers, which is not the same for every store, obviously, we have filters for my buying and then Naomi's buying, which is all kids. And once I hit that, it will filter based only on that. And you can still, sort however you want, refine however you want to make it easier for you. Not every buyer is going to have this. I used to do all of the buying, so I didn't need to bother with filters. But it is an option if you have multiple buyers, or if you really want to only be looking at one thing, and you can add here. And it's a pretty powerful filter. Also though, don't ever hesitate to contact Edelweiss if you have questions or can't figure something out. They're super helpful, and they'll give their contact information as well.
Yeah, like one thing if you're a genre bookstore, like you don't need to look at other genres that you're not going to carry. So it's an easy filter for that. Or just, we're a children's bookstore, so I rarely look at the adult side. So you just filter that out. So it saves you time if you set these up so that you can just focus on what you need to focus on as a buyer, because there's a lot going on.
There is a lot going on. You can also, by the way, just create an order from your orders screen and have it be whatever you need, like a display order or a promo order. And what's kind of cool is that in order to say you want to add a book to an order, when you just go into the item not in an order, it gives you all of your open orders and you can just add it in there as well. So that's another option. I do that like for series. If if you know, book 3 is coming out and we don't have books 1 and 2 on hand, and I want to just order them all at the same time, I'll open up a new tab of Edelweiss, find those books, by the ISBN, and then just like pop it into, I make sure that I look at my orange thing, very important, this bar at the bottom, put it in the right order, add your numbers, and it will add it to the order, which is also super helpful. And you'll notice here, this is that little guy that I was talking about. Ta-da!
Yeah, it's very important to notice that little orange exclamation mark. So then when you've finished your order, so how do you get it in from Edelweiss into your POS? This is going to be different for everyone. My store uses Anthology. Elayna uses Basil. So you have to, however you do it, I always like look at this order first and then make sure like I'm in the right thing, that there's nothing weird going on. And then you can download the order, and Edelweiss has it set up for the like POS systems, what information is needed directly. And it will tell you that at the top. So you'll see Elayna's little mark that says Basil, mine says Anthology. And so it has the information that your POS system will need automatically to upload. And then you can download that into your system. And again, each one is different, but it will download it into a specific file type, and then you'll load it up onto your POS however you import the external data. So.
Right. So with Basil, we actually don't use this download button. We use this FTP button, and it downloads. It takes about 15-20 minutes to download into our system. You'll notice it has all of this bibliographic information. This is all the info that's being added, including, you know, if we have notes on them, if I have tags, it will include that. For, you know, a holiday buy or Valentine's Day or something like that. I always also, because Basil works in a way where it just downloads into a new PO, I then add my PO numbers here. You can change them, like if I needed to change this at all. So I add my PO numbers here once it's been downloaded and I have them. And when I share it, which is right here, you know, here's my rep. I click this button and email, order completed, and I give her the PO numbers again. Never a bad idea to have multiple like places where you have that information. I also wanted to show people, can you see the spreadsheet?
Yes.
No. Yes. Okay. So I have a spreadsheet for keeping all of my orders straight. There are so many. I'm sure every store does this differently. Jessica probably does it differently, but you know, I have my seasons, I have the dates, the times. Once I've put the order, I put the PO numbers in there also. So I have it in like 3 different places just in case. And I do this for every single one of my rep appointments. This is how I keep it all straight. I also have it on my own Google Calendar. And I also want to mention, you can sort this list of orders however you want to as well. I have it sorted by appointment date, earliest to latest. That's so I know what I need to work on next. Other people like to do it differently. I don't know, Jessica, if you do it any differently from that.
Nope, appointment date, that's the priority.
Yeah, that's definitely the priority. So I know, you know, and it's also a great way to like notice if you haven't gotten markups from someone. Like if I'm jumping from, you know, June 8th to June 22nd, generally we do a buy a week. That means there's probably one missing that I haven't gotten a markup from, and I might want to double check with my rep. I double check my calendar, I see what it is, if there is one. And then I double check with my rep and make sure that they get those markups to me at least a couple weeks in advance. I try to have stuff, numbers put in no later than the day before. I don't want to make their jobs any harder because they're then going through your whole order and making suggestions and stuff. So it's really nice to be able to have that.
I need to jump in and just let you know we're down to just a few minutes left. We're jumping from this session right into our noon session. So I'm sorry to have to rush this along.
So then really quick, when you've gotten, so you'll notice like I emailed my rep about this fall order. When I get an email confirmation from her or a confirmation within Edelweiss that it's complete, I mark it as completed and I mark it as ordered in my system. I do really quick want to go over tags. So Jessica noted, you know, the tags that she makes, and I said the tags I make. I use tags for displays. I think Jessica uses them for the website. Is that right, Jessica?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So we have all of these tags. I'm hitting show more for my Bookmine tabs. I date them, so I always go down to like, I just did my Father's Day tags. So 2022 Father's Day. You can see everything you tagged for that. And what I do is I hit other actions, I select all, and then I add to a collection. These are already in the Father's Day collection, but you can also create a new one from here. And then you go to catalogs. And here you want to be looking at my collections, because you can also look at publisher catalogs from here, but in this case, you're wanting to look at my collections. There are all those titles that I just dumped into a collection so that I can look and decide if I want to order these. And I can, you notice that there's the orange bar at the bottom. I can create my display order. You know, this doesn't have to be a front list buy. This can be a display order. It can be a promotional order. It can be whatever you need. You don't have to, I'm not going to bother putting in any bound catalogs here because this is from multiple publishers. That doesn't make sense. And I just go through, do the buy, and then finish it out just like any other order. Anything you want to add to that, Jessica?
Nope, that was pretty much it.
Okay, I'm going to stop my share. We probably don't have too many questions that we can answer that we have time for. But anytime you want, I think my email and Jessica's email should be in there. Please feel free to reach out. I know this was a lot. This was also being recorded. So feel free to go back and rewatch it. We went through stuff pretty quickly because time was limited. And then Deidre, did you want to say anything before we all sign off?
Yeah, thanks. I'll just quickly say, Nikki shared it in the chat, but if you are in the site and you have any questions as you're getting to know how to do things, you can always contact us at support@abovethetreeline.com. You'll also notice that on the site towards the right-hand side, there's a little smiley face button that has a like frowning and smiley face. If you are placing any orders and something seems weird, things are not loading properly, or you're having any issues, that's a quick way where you can reach out to us and let us know that something is going on. But also, like they said, if you want to reach out to me directly, I'm here as well. If you want more information about analytics, which is what you would need to be able to see your store sales data, especially with comps, you can contact us at support or contact me and we'll share more information about how you can get yourself set up. Or if you have issues with importing any of your orders, obviously you can reach out to us as well. And I think that was really it. Yeah, just talk to us. We're here.
And I do really quickly, now that I can actually see the chat, want to address Mimi's question about adding backlist and frontlist together. So I showed you how to add backlist, you know, just go in through the ISBN or the title and make sure that you're selected in that order that you want to add it to and just add from there. So that's how you would add backlist and frontlist at the same time. I do it a different way, and I usually download my Frontlist orders into my point of sale, and then I add Backlist to that through my own POS. And then when I'm done, I send that order to my rep directly, either with an EDI order, which is electronic ordering, or in an email.
And
I hope this was helpful, everyone.